$8,000. That's what someone was asking for KITT's original engine on eBay. The actual engine. From the actual car. David Hasselhoff saw the listing at 2 a.m. and without thinking, without hesitating, he bought it. But what happened next shocked everyone who knew him. What did he do with that engine? Where did it end up? And why did his decision make his daughters say it was the first truly selfless thing he'd done in years? This is the story of an engine on eBay. And the moment David Hasselhoff finally understood what letting go really meant, it was February 2016. David couldn't sleep. Again. He'd been sober for 8 months this time. Real sobriety. Not the kind where you stop for a week and call it recovery. The kind where you go to meetings every day and call your sponsor at midnight when the cravings hit. The kind that hurts. He was scrolling through his phone at 2 a.m. when he saw it. An alert. He'd set up Google alerts for anything Knight Rider related. Mostly it was fan sites or replica builders. But this one was different. Original Knight Rider KITT engine for sale eBay. David clicked the link. And there it was. Photos of a Pontiac 400 cubic inch V8 engine. Dirty. Old. Sitting in what looked like someone's garage. But according to the listing, this was the engine. The actual engine from Hero Car Number 1. The car David had driven for 5 years. The engine that had powered every scene. Every stunt. Every moment of the show that made him famous. The seller was a retired stuntman named Carl Brogan. His description was simple. Bought this from Universal Studios lot sale in 1991. Certificate of authenticity included. Engine was removed from Hero Car 1 after show ended. Been in my garage for 25 years. Time to let it go. Starting bid $5,000. Buy it now, $8,000. David stared at the listing. $8,000. That was nothing. He'd spent more than that on a weekend in Vegas. More than that on bottles he couldn't remember drinking. $8,000 for a piece of his history. For the actual heart of KITT. He clicked buy it now. Entered his payment information. Confirmed. Done. At 2:15 a.m. on a Tuesday in February. David Hasselhoff bought KITT's engine off eBay for $8,000. Then he sat there wondering what the hell he'd just done. The engine arrived 6 days later. Carl Brogan delivered it himself. Drove all the way from Nevada to Beverly Hills in a pickup truck with the engine secured in the bed. David met him at the gate. "Mr. Hasselhoff," Carl said, extending his hand. "I can't believe I'm delivering this to you. I can't believe I bought it," David said honestly. They moved the engine into David's garage. It was heavy. Took both of them in a dolly to get it positioned. When it was finally sitting there on a tarp in the middle of David's garage, Carl stood back and looked at it with something like reverence. "I was a stunt driver on Knight Rider," Carl said. "Seasons 3 and 4. I jumped this engine, spun it, pushed it to redline more times than I can count. It never quit on us. Not once." David knelt down beside the engine, put his hand on the cold metal. It was dirty, covered in decades of dust and oil. But underneath the grime you could still see the Pontiac badge. Still see the power this thing had once had. "Why'd you sell it?" David asked. Carl shrugged. "Wife's been after me to clean out the garage for years. And honestly, I figured it should go to someone who'd appreciate it. When I saw your name on the payment, I knew it was meant to be." After Carl left, David sat in his garage staring at the engine. He'd bought it on impulse. Hadn't thought it through. And now he had an 800-pound engine sitting in his garage and no idea what to do with it. He called his daughter Haley. "I did something stupid." "What now?" "I bought KITT's first engine off eBay." Silence. Then Dad. "Why?" "I don't know. It was 2 a.m. I saw the listing. And I just bought it." "What are you going to do with it?" "I don't know." "Dad, you need to stop doing this. You need to stop buying pieces of your past hoping it'll make you feel better. We've talked about this." "I know." "Then why do you keep doing it?" David didn't have an answer. For 2 weeks the engine just sat there. David would go into the garage and look at it. Sometimes he'd sit on the floor next to it. Touch the metal. Remember, filming in the California heat, the sound of the engine starting, the way the whole car would vibrate when they revved it, the feeling of being Michael Knight. Young, successful, in control, but looking at the engine didn't bring those feelings back. It just made David feel old. And sad. And stuck. His therapist asked about it during their next session. You bought what? KITT Thirst engine. Off eBay. Why? I thought maybe. I don't know what I thought. David, what are you going to do with an engine? I don't know. Build a shrine. Put it on a stand. Stare at it until I feel something. His therapist leaned back. Or you could let it go. I just bought it. I don't mean sell it. I mean let go of what it represents. Let go of the idea that owning pieces of your past will somehow bring it back. David knew she was right. But knowing something and doing something are different things. The answer came from an unexpected place. David got an email 3 weeks after buying the engine, from a woman named Jennifer Torres. Subject line: Knight Rider saved my son's life. David almost deleted it. He got hundreds of emails from fans. Most he never read. But something about this one made him open it. Mr. Hasselhoff. You don't know me. My name is Jennifer Torres. My son Miguel is 16. 3 years ago he was diagnosed with leukemia. The treatment was brutal. Chemotherapy. Hospital stays. Pain. He wanted to give up. Multiple times he told me he didn't want to fight anymore. But there was one thing that kept him going. Knight Rider. He'd watched every episode dozens of times. You and KITT were his heroes. He said if Michael Knight never gave up, neither would he. Last month Miguel was declared cancer-free. And his one wish, his one dream was to meet you. I know this is a lot to ask. But if there's any way you could spare a few minutes to meet him, it would mean everything. Thank you for being his hero when I couldn't be. David read the email 3 times. Then he called Jennifer Torres. Mrs. Torres, this is David Hasselhoff. The woman on the phone gasped. Oh my God, you actually called. I got your email. About Miguel. I'm sorry if I overstepped. I just thought. When can I meet him? What? Your son. When can I meet him? They arranged it for Saturday. Jennifer and Miguel lived in Riverside, about an hour from Beverly Hills. David could have invited them to his house, but he wanted to meet Miguel on neutral ground. They agreed on a diner halfway between. Saturday came. David arrived early. Nervous. He'd done meet and greets before. Thousands of them. But this felt different. This felt important. Miguel Torres walked in with his mother at exactly noon. He was thin. Too thin. His hair was growing back but still patchy from chemo. He wore a Knight Rider t-shirt. And when he saw David sitting in the booth, his face lit up in a way that made David's chest tight. You're real, Miguel said. David stood up, extended his hand. I'm real, and you must be Miguel. They sat down, ordered food, and talked. Miguel told David about his diagnosis, about the treatment, about the nights he wanted to give up, and about watching Knight Rider on his hospital TV and deciding that if Michael Knight could face impossible odds, so could he. You saved my life, Miguel said simply. You saved your own life. David said. You fought. You survived. That was all you. But you gave me something to fight for. You and KITT. You showed me what being strong looks like. David felt something crack inside his chest. This kid. This brave, incredible kid. And he was talking about a TV show like it was real. Like it mattered. Miguel, David said carefully. Can I ask you something? Anything. What's your favorite part of Knight Rider? Miguel thought for a moment. The partnership. Michael and KITT, they were a team. They trusted each other. KITT always had Michael's back. I liked that. I liked knowing that even when things got hard, Michael wasn't alone. David nodded, understanding something he hadn't understood before. It wasn't about the car. It wasn't about the fame, it was about the connection, the relationship, the idea that you didn't have to face things alone. After lunch, David asked Miguel if he wanted to see something special. Like what? Come with me. David drove Miguel and Jennifer back to his house, led them to the garage, and there, sitting on the tarp, was KITT. Miguel stopped walking, stared. Is that the original engine from Hero Car 1? The actual heart of KITT? Miguel approached it slowly, like approaching something sacred. He knelt down, put his hand on the metal, the same metal David had been staring at for weeks. This powered every episode. Miguel whispered. Every single one. Miguel looked up at David. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why do you still have it? I read that you tried to buy the whole car, that the owner wouldn't sell. So why do you have the engine? David had been asking himself the same question, and suddenly looking at this kid who'd fought cancer and won. This kid who'd used Knight Rider as armor against the worst thing life could throw at him. David knew the answer. I don't have it. David said. You do. Miguel's face went blank. What? This engine. It's yours. If you want it. Dad. What are you doing? Haley had appeared in the garage doorway. She'd been inside when they arrived. I'm giving Miguel KITT. Dad. You paid $8,000 for that. I know what I paid. And now I'm giving it to someone who actually understands what it means. Miguel stood up. Mr. Hasselhoff. I can't accept this. It's too much. Miguel, I bought this engine because I thought owning it would make me feel connected to something I lost. But I was wrong. The thing I lost isn't out there. It's not in a car or an engine or a museum. It's in here. David tapped his chest. And you already have it. You have what Michael Knight had. Courage. Strength. The will to keep fighting. So this engine doesn't belong to me. It belongs to someone who embodies what KITT said. And that's you. Jennifer Torres was crying. Haley was crying. Miguel was trying not to cry and failing. I don't know what to say. Miguel said. Say you'll take care of it. Say you'll remember what it represents. Not a TV show. Not a car. But the idea that you're never alone. That you can face anything. That courage matters. Miguel nodded, unable to speak. It took them 2 hours to load the engine into Jennifer's husband's truck. David helped. Haley helped. And when it was finally secured and ready to go, Miguel hugged David. A long, tight hug that said more than words could. Thank you. Miguel whispered. Thank you. David said back. For reminding me what this all meant. After they left, David stood in his empty garage. The tarp was still there. The dolly. But the engine was gone, and David felt lighter than he'd felt in months. Haley stood beside him. Dad. That was the nicest thing I've ever seen you do. It was the right thing. When you called me and said you bought that engine, I thought, here we go again. Another piece of the past he's trying to hold on to. But giving it to Miguel, that was different. That was letting go by passing it forward. David nodded. I've been trying to own my past. Trying to keep it. Control it. But that's not how it works. The past isn't something you own. It's something you learn from. And then you give it to the next person who needs it. 6 months later, David got a package in the mail. A photo. Miguel Torres standing next to KITT's engine. But it wasn't in a garage anymore. It was on a custom-built stand in Miguel's room. Polished. Displayed. With a plaque that read, The Heart of KITT. A reminder to never give up. And under the plaque in smaller letters, Gift from David Hasselhoff, who taught me that heroes share their strength. David put the photo on his refrigerator, where he could see it every day. A reminder that the best thing you can do with your past isn't to own it. It's to give it to someone who needs it more than you do. He never regretted giving that engine away. Not once. Because every time he thought about it,
sitting in Miguel's room inspiring a kid who'd beaten cancer. David understood something fundamental. KITT's engine belonged exactly where it was. Not in David's garage collecting dust, but in the room of someone who understood what it really represented. Courage, hope, the will to keep fighting, and the knowledge that you're never truly alone. That's worth more than $8,000. That's worth more than any piece of memorabilia. That's worth everything. David Hasselhoff bought KITT's engine on eBay at 2 a.m., and what he did next shocked everyone. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was selfless. Because it was about someone else. Because it was the moment David finally understood that holding on to the past doesn't preserve it. Passing it forward does. The engine still exists. Still sits in Miguel Torres's room. Still reminds him every day that he's strong enough to face anything. And David Hasselhoff still has the photo on his refrigerator. Still looks at it and smiles. Still knows that he made the right choice. Because in the end, that's what heroes do. They don't hoard their legacy. They share it. They pass it on. They trust that the next generation will carry it forward. And Miguel Torres, cancer survivor, Knight Rider fan, owner of KITT's heart, is carrying it forward every single day.